At Lowe's, we're your go-to for great gardening values every day. That's why we've lowered our price on select bagged mulch, now starting at just $2.88 a bag. Mulch helps prevent weeds and retains moisture, and when you put it down around trees, shrubs, and flower beds, you'll see how beautiful it makes your outdoor space. Just in time to welcome back family and friends. Shop online and pick up in store. Lowe's, home to the best part of summer. Selection and product availability vary by location. While supplies last, U.S. only. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. At Lowe's, we're your go-to for great gardening values every day. That's why we've lowered our price on select bagged mulch, now starting at just $2.88 a bag. Mulch helps prevent weeds and retains moisture, and when you put it down around trees, shrubs, and flower beds, you'll see how beautiful it makes your outdoor space. Just in time to welcome back family and friends. Shop online and pick up in store. Lowe's, home to the best part of summer. Selection and product availability vary by location. While supplies last, U.S. only. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the program. We're going to jump right in this morning. And just as I suspected, Ghislaine Maxwell and her team are asking for the trial to be delayed. They want it delayed all the way until 2022. That's a long time, folks. A real long time. And I don't even know what to say about that. If this trial gets delayed to 2022, who the hell knows? I highly doubt that I'll be able to carve out a whole month in 2022 to go to New York for this trial. So I guess I'll have to reevaluate my plans if they delay this. But no matter what, at the very least, I'm going to be at that trial for a couple of weeks, no doubt about it. Now, obviously, if the trial goes off at the same time that we thought, all plans are go. I have all of my arrangements set up already. Everything's locked in. All I have to do is purchase my ticket, my airfare, and I'm locked in. But if they delay the trial, obviously that throws everything into chaos and, real life starts to creep in. It's been since October of 2019 where I've, dedicated a lot of time to this podcast and talking about this story. So it was like a perfect storm though, right? The pandemic came on. Wasn't like anyone was going anywhere anyway, really. So I had the time on my hands definitely to really dive into this case. But if they push this till 2022, man, I don't even know. Obviously, we'll be here covering it, but man, that's a hell of a grind, folks, and a hell of a long time away to get some justice. And as miserable as it might be for those of us following this case, it doesn't even compare one iota to what the people who actually suffered at the hands of this monster must feel like, or what they must be thinking. When you have a justice system that completely deserts you, when you have a justice system that only caters to the very few at the top, then you have a society that is not long until it crumbles. When people don't believe in the institutions, and people can't trust the very people who are put into positions to protect the most vulnerable amongst us, and that transcends political sides, one of the very few issues, and what do you expect? What do you expect is going to happen? But they just keep doubling down on their terrible decision-making. They just keep doubling down on letting the privileged and the wealthy get away with whatever they want. Remember, nobody still to this day has went to prison for the financial disaster that ruined everybody's lives. How many of you sat around watching your parents with their hands in their heads losing a bunch of money? How many of you personally lost a bunch of money? I know I lost a ton of money at that point. I've been working steady since I've been 16 years old and putting into my 401k and saving and stuff like that. Then 2009 rolled around, wiped everything out. Oh, sorry, buddy. Start back at the beginning again. Meanwhile, all of these dudes are jumping with their golden parachutes. So the whole entire thing is it's just broken, right? When people like that, people who cause such a disaster as that financial meltdown, when those people don't go to prison, and then, you have a lot of hope with a new regime coming in, Biden's coming in, right? People are hopeful that things are going to change, but instead everything stays the same. So I don't know, folks. I don't know. I really hope that they do not push this trial back until 2022. That will not be fun. All right, so our article today is from the Daily Mail. Headline, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers want her trial delayed until 2022 so they can review evidence including 2,100 highly confidential pictures not produced during discovery. This article was authored by Holden Walter Warner. Now, that's a lot to digest there, right? First of all, the delay that we were talking about in the opening, that sucks. But the 2,100 highly confidential pictures, well, what could those be? Now, we know that the prosecution and the FBI, when they raided Epstein's pads, still haven't raided Zero, by the way, when they raided Epstein's pads, they collected a bunch of evidence. Videos, supposedly, photographs, supposedly. So I'm guessing that a lot of this stuff might have been procured in that raid. You would think, right? Maybe not. I don't have any evidence that points to that direction, that says that. But you would think that there are some compromising pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell engaging in whatever it might be. We know that Epstein wasn't a trusting man. We know that it wasn't, he wasn't working on a system of trust with Ghislaine Maxwell, right? So it makes sense that he would have some compromise on her as well. So very interesting, that little tidbit. Just weeks after being hit with new sex trafficking charges, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers have requested a delay in her trial so they can review thousands of highly confidential pictures that were not produced during discovery. Lawyers for Maxwell wrote a letter to Judge Allison Nathan asking for the trial delay on Thursday. So Thursday was a pretty busy day, obviously, right? We had the draconian decision by the embarrassing 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and we have this big ask here by Ghislaine Maxwell and her team for this delay. The lawyers claim they need to comb over evidence again, including the 2,100 highly confidential pictures due to the two new charges. So, again, I wonder what these pictures could be. Obviously, they're concerning enough to the defense that they're asking for a delay in this trial. Now, we know Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't want to be in jail, right? We know she doesn't want to be in prison. So asking for this delay can just extend that stay for her. So it must be something that is concerning to the defense. At least that's the way I'm perceiving it here. Or else why even ask for this delay, right? If you think your client is innocent, you're ready to go to trial, right? You're like, I don't want to be incarcerated for one more second than I have to be. I want to clear my good name. Let's rock and roll. Now, I understand if there's a lot more evidence provided, they might need some time. But to 2022? What sort of ludicrous BS is that? The new charges stem from the alleged grooming of a 14-year-old girl to engage in sexual acts with Epstein from 2001 to 2004 at his Palm Beach home. The indictment claimed Maxwell groomed the girl to engage in sex acts with Epstein by giving her gifts and cash. And we know it's even deeper than that. I mean, I honestly have no idea, folks, really, how she hasn't been hit with the Mann Act, how there's no RICO charges here. It's just mind-boggling to me. Honestly, mind-boggling to me. Now, these charges that she has been hit with, they're heavy, right? They carry weight. There's no doubt. But I still don't think that the federal government has gone far enough. They need to send a message here. And the remnants of this whole operation need to be mopped up. No different than if they were the Sinaloa cartel or if they were the Gambinos or your run-of-the-mill drug operation. The whole entire enterprise needs to be mopped up and prosecuted. A significant amount of evidence had already been given to the lawyers, but they wanted to be re-reviewed because of the new charges. So basically they're saying we need to go through every bit of documentation again to see how it relates to these new charges and if there's any poison pills in here for us to avoid. And I get that, honestly, right? I'd want my lawyers to be thorough too. Let's remember, even though there's a mountain of evidence and a ton of eyewitness statement, and, you know, the girls themselves who claim that Maxwell abused them and was involved, she is still innocent until proven guilty, right? So, you know, she's afforded those rights, her lawyers, to go through all of this documentation, to make sure they have all of their ducks in a row. That way, when trial does come and they get absolutely clobbered, there's no way they can go back and cry about impropriety during the trial or any of that jazz. So, I get why they want a delay, and I probably would ask for one too if I was in this situation. But to 2022 seems a little far away. The lawyer argued the prosecution had taken months to investigate the allegations and build their case, but had not afforded the defense the same time with the volumes of evidence. The court heard the defense would be hard-pressed to prepare for the trial before mid-January. Lawyers said they felt forced to request the delay, even though it would prolong Miss Maxwell's miserable and punishing detention. Wow, so there you go. That pretty much confirms my suspicions, I'm thinking here, folks. That whatever they have received evidence-wise, picture-wise and stuff, is damning and backbreaking to Team Maxwell. So they're willing to risk her being incarcerated for well over a year, awaiting trial, over these new developments. But I thought that the government's case wasn't strong. I thought it was a weak case. If it was a weak case like Maxwell's lawyers contend, then they shouldn't need the delay, right? They should just come out and hammer the shit out of this case. Remember, folks, BS is everywhere. But the need for time to properly prepare Miss Maxwell's defense as a result of the additional charges, requiring us to do so, causing Miss Maxwell to reluctantly agree to this request. The defense also argued that technology is holding up their effort to review the pictures, according to the New York Post. So, if that is the case, again, let's make sure the technology's there. Let's not give them any kind of leg to stand on with these silly arguments. She can review this evidence until she's blue in the face, but it's not going to change the facts on the ground. And I don't know, I've never been in this position, obviously, so I can only Monday morning quarterback it and say, this is what I think I would do. But I highly doubt I'd be trying to push this trial until 2022. I don't think I could be incarcerated for a day, never mind multiple months, a year. No way, man. Zero chance. Zero chance. A bunch of smelly people around you, people telling you when to eat, people telling you when to shower, when to turn off your TV, when to go to bed, when it's okay to do this, when it's okay to do that. No, thank you. We cannot adequately prepare for a trial containing the new charges and a substantially expanded conspiracy in the less than 3 months remaining, her lawyer said. So they're asking till 2022. My guess is they'll split the baby. I'm guessing maybe October, November for this trial. If they delay it, that would be my guess. Again, just a wild guess there, gut. And if that's the case, that's going to suck because New York is freezing that time of year, folks. I am not a big fan of the snow and all of that jazz while I'm in the city. I only like the snow when I'm in the mountains. We have tried to use an FBI-supplied laptop and hard drive to review approximately 2,100 highly confidential photographs that were not produced to us in discovery, they said. Because of technical issues with the laptop, we still have not completed the review. Look, I can honestly see that happening. The government's terrible when it comes to stuff like that. Technology's always outdated. I mean, look at the unemployment fiasco that occurred. How many people were waiting on unemployment, still waiting on unemployment, being denied, saying that it wasn't them? Then
the heart sets us apart. It beats and ticks, and over the years it's taken a few licks. But your heart doesn't just beat for you, beats for your friends and family and your grandson Drew. So let's make it stronger, 'cause a healthy heart loves longer.
Every heart deserves a specialist. Find yours at Dignity Health St. Rose Dominican Hospitals. Hello, human kindness. Imagine an ER waiting room with your favorite blanket and pillow, your cat's Pixel and Widget, and your mom's chicken soup. At Dignity Health, we know the only thing worse than being in pain is being stuck in an ER waiting room. So we offer In Quicker. You get an estimated ER arrival time online so you can start your wait at home. It's just another way of putting leading-edge medicine within easy reach. Learn more at strosehospitals.org/ER. Dignity Health, including St. Rose Dominicans, Rose de Lima, San Martin, and Siena campuses in Henderson and Las Vegas. Hello, human kindness.
you had the facial recognition technology where you couldn't log on to your account, that you had to go and do this facial thing where you prove it's you, and then the software didn't work. So you would have to call and wait in a queue for like 9 hours to have like a 3-minute video conference with somebody. It's wild, the stories I've been hearing about this stuff. And yet people still believe that turning to the government to administer their lives is a proper idea. It's a great idea. I mean, there's a place for some of it, right? Of course, there's a place for the government to do their thing, but folks, come on. They can't get anything right. You been to the DMV lately? And that's what happens with bureaucracies. Doesn't matter who's in charge, left or right. The bureaucracy maintains. The charges were only added now because pandemic travel restrictions had prevented police conducting interviews with the alleged victim until January 2021, because she lives more than a day's drive away from New York. So police work stopped functioning over this pandemic? That's kind of concerning in itself, folks, that they weren't out doing their thing. Oh, it's longer than a day's drive? Well, gas the car up and let's go. I know if I was a federal agent, I wouldn't be waiting around. You know, I'd throw on my N95 mask, and I'd hit the road and do my gig, do my job. I mean, if people can go to work at the supermarkets every single day, don't you think the FBI and their investigations are essential as well? I don't know. Maybe I'm just confused. Further evidence gathering investigations took another 2 months to be completed, adding to the delay, the Times reported. Prosecutors said the charges would not hugely extend the length of Maxwell's trial, which is set to start on July 12th and is expected to last 4 weeks. Now, you see, that's my time frame that I've been working with, right? And I knew that it might be a delay at some point, or they'd move the dates, but all the way to 2022 is just absurd. Absolutely absurd. They said they plan to present a streamlined case focusing primarily on the 4 minor victims. So, prosecution says they got it dialed in. They have their sights locked in on what the scope of their case is going to be, and they're going to hammer that home. Now, let's see if they can actually do it, right? Talk is cheap. Maxwell has been in jail since she was arrested by the FBI on July 2nd, 2020 in Bradford, New Hampshire. Maxwell was charged with enticement of minors, sex trafficking of children, and perjury for allegedly helping procure underage girls for Jeffrey Epstein, then allegedly lying about it under oath. And again, why isn't the Mann Act slapped on here? She was on a plane with these girls where they were going over state lines to be trafficked. I don't see the deal. I don't see the problem. Pretty cut and dry, if you ask me. That's exactly what this law was put on the books for. She was denied bail and is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. Epstein himself was facing sex trafficking charges when he committed suicide, allegedly, in a Manhattan jail in August 2019. While Maxwell has been denied bail several times, allegations have emerged about her keeping her cell in poor conditions, including not flushing the toilet after use. The reemergence of Turdgate and Princess Turdstool. Blaming Miss Maxwell for the filth of her severely restricted environment is utterly misplaced, her lawyers said in a letter to the judge last week, according to Fox News. To suggest she willingly lives in squalor is absurd. In an effort to wield power, the guards use cleaning as a punishment. Yeah, so did my parents when I was younger, folks. Breaking news. Oh, you want to mess around? All right, F around and find out. Now, you got yard work? Oh, you see that big-ass Junior Olympic-sized swimming pool we got in the backyard that you and your friends are so fond of? Yep, clean it. Oh, you see my car out there? Get yourself a bucket. It needs to be washed. That's what happens when you don't do the right thing. Act like a child, you get treated like a child. Well, when you're a prisoner, you get treated like one. Her lawyers claim there's anything from mold to vermin to cockroaches at her detention center. And look, you guys all know where I'm at with this. I don't want those conditions for anybody in jail, not where my tax dollars are funding it. And that goes for Maxwell and the most deplorable amongst us. You could tell a lot about a society about how it treats its prisoners. So I am totally for prison reform, I'm for justice reform, and I'm for these facilities being a place that's at least livable. That said, those aren't the facts on the ground. That isn't the environment we live in. And unfortunately for Maxwell, she never felt like that previously. She never put her vast fortune towards prison reform. She never wanted to help people who were getting the raw end of the deal by the federal government. And now that she's getting a little taste of the shit pie, all of a sudden, she wants to spotlight these issues? Well, breaking news. Nobody has any empathy for an alleged child sex trafficker, Ghislaine. They also said that Maxwell's health is declining, including her eyesight and her hair, which is supposedly thinning. You know, it's funny. We always talk about how stress does that to you anyway here on the show. And I have a friend who was going to law school. Young lady, very good shape, worked out all the time. Everything in her life was great besides the stress of school. Well, guess what? She lost hair. She lost weight. She was, going through the ringer because she was so stressed about passing the bar exam. And you see that with a lot of people who are under stress, folks. I had a full, bushy, gigantically beautiful black beard until Carrie got sick. When Carrie was diagnosed with cancer, the stress was unbearable. I can't tell you how many times I went without eating food. And that's what stress does to you when you're in that sort of environment and it's foreign to your body. You're going to go through some changes. So I don't look at that as a result of her being abused. It's an unfortunate result of the stress. But, like I always say here on the podcast, play stupid games and you win stupid prizes, Ghislaine. No amount of gloss put on Miss Maxwell's conditions of confinement can erase the fact that she remains in de facto solitary confinement, overmanaged by multiple guards and surveilled by multiple cameras 24 hours per day, her attorney added. Meanwhile, Maxwell's family this week launched a website to support her, saying that she is no monster and protesting her innocence, which they are more than, able to do, right? They're free to do that in this country. You should defend yourself vigorously. But I just don't know how they can possibly think that launching a website, a puff piece website, is going to do the trick. We're going to need how about some receipts on the website? We have any evidence on the website, or no, we're just going to refer to work done by another person accused in this sordid ordeal, Alan Dershowitz. I mean, do you not see how tone-deaf that is? What do you have, Prince Andrew's crisis management team working for you? It is unbelievable, folks. The site realghislaine.com has her family sharing biographical details, information about her upcoming trial, jail conditions, and even the books Maxwell is reading while imprisoned. You know what they're not sharing? Receipts. You know what they're not sharing? Evidence proving that she is innocent. So until somebody shows me that evidence, until we see the evidence proving to us that she's innocent, well, I'll be right over here with the same opinion that I've had from the very jump. And that opinion is, after this trial's said and done, and after Ghislaine sits in front of her peers, a jury of her peers for judgment, she's going to be convicted. And she's going to go away for a very, very long time. Well, that's if the corrupt system doesn't get in the way, right? Because there's always that variable we have to think about, the wild card, the system somehow finding a way to help one of their own. I hope beyond hope that that is not the case here. And I hope that the government pursues this to the very ends of wherever these roads end up. Because it's not just Ghislaine who helped this move along, right? She was in a leadership role. She was definitely one of the most responsible. But what about the core four? What about Indike? What about Khan? Are we going to see indictments for the rest of the co-conspirators? Or is the government going to continue to miss the mark when it comes to providing justice to those wronged by Jeffrey Epstein? If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBYCAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. All right, folks, I'm not too sure if I'll be back tonight with a daily drop. We'll see where the news lands us. But if there's something to report, I most certainly will be back. If not, you can expect a few flashback episodes. All right, everybody, please enjoy your Friday. And if I don't talk to you folks later, I will talk to you in the morning.
Imagine an ER waiting room with your favorite blanket and pillow, your cat's Pixel and Widget, and your mom's chicken soup. At Dignity Health, we know the only thing worse than being in pain is being stuck in an ER waiting room. So we offer In Quicker. You get an estimated ER arrival time online so you can start your wait at home. It's just another way of putting leading-edge medicine within easy reach. Learn more at strosehospitals.org/ER. Dignity Health, including St. Rose Dominicans, Rose de Lima, San Martin, and Siena campuses in Henderson and Las Vegas. Hello, human kindness. Imagine an ER waiting room with your favorite blanket and pillow, your cat's Pixel and Widget, and your mom's chicken soup. At Dignity Health, we know the only thing worse than being in pain is being stuck in an ER waiting room. So we offer In Quicker. You get an estimated ER arrival time online so you can start your wait at home. It's just another way of putting leading-edge medicine within easy reach. Learn more at strosehospitals.org/ER. Dignity Health, including St. Rose Dominicans, Rose de Lima, San Martin, and Siena campuses in Henderson and Las Vegas. Hello, human kindness.